Episode number 801, Captivating Educational Moments.
You're listening to the official BNI podcast with BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner. Stay tuned for networking and referral marketing tips from the man who's been called the father of modern networking, along with suggestions and insights into getting the most from your membership in the world's largest networking organization, BNI.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official BNI podcast. I'm Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio in Berkeley, California, and I'm joined on the phone today by the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. Hello, Ivan. How are you, and where are you?
I am at home in Austin, Texas this week, and I have a guest on BNI podcast who I've had before, Jennie Edwards. Jennie is a photographer and videographer who teaches people how to show up confidently and vulnerably in front of the camera. And in her best book, Empowered You, Jennie helps readers activate their best self to live their most fulfilled life. Jennie gets her, I love this phrase, her heart pumping while chasing her two little girls, ages 3 and 7, and she earns her nickname Joyful Jennie while juggling the 3-ring circus of parenting. Jennie, that is so true. Nobody tells us this before we have children, that it's a 3-ring circus, but it is. 3-ring circus of parenting, entrepreneurship, and inspiring people to change the world. Welcome back to the BNI podcast, Jennie.
Thank you so much, Ivan.
It's good to have you here. The 3-ring circus of parenting, entrepreneurship, and inspiring people to change the world. That's a great phrase. You have a good turn of the phrase. That's excellent.
Thank you very much.
And you do education moments with your chapter, and that was the topic of the last one we did. And the full title for this one is the 3 E's of Captivating Educational Moments that Cross Over into Business. And the 3 E's are engagement, emotion, and entertainment/edutainment. So let's start with the first one, engagement.
Engagement. Yeah, that's what we all want, right? We want people paying attention to us.
Yep.
We don't want someone up there just winging it, right? With nobody paying attention and everybody checking out on their phones or something. So this is really about how to, of course, first ask them an enrolling question when you start your education moment. What's a question that gets them to say yes? How many of you want to have more success in your BNI membership? By show of hands, get them to raise their hand. Really encourage the participation. And this is going to help people focus on you and your message more intricately. That's a really big part of it.
Engagement's really important. It's one of the things that I've seen over the years is that people who are engaged in the BNI program at many different levels, if they're engaged, they're way more likely to be successful. So that I agree completely. Go ahead.
Yes. And one other thing I want to mention about that is, how do you want them to engage with your message after the meeting? Because sometimes they might forget, what did you even talk about? They've tuned it out. They've totally lost it after they leave the meeting, and they might not ever recall that information. So some way that you could maybe challenge them to do some kind of action step after the meeting throughout the week, maybe challenge them for however it's related to your content, challenge them to do 3 1-to-1s or challenge them to listen to specific podcasts. I love that one.
And yes, I like that one.
Yeah, that way they're getting that way they're getting all their power of one components, and they're doing something that is going to help them get more benefits from their membership.
Totally agree. Engagement is absolutely critical in a successful membership. What about emotion?
Okay, I love the emotion, because we've all seen education moments where somebody is standing up there and reading off of a piece of paper like a robot, blah, 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 blah. And what happens to the audience? They're not engaged.
They're zoned.
The person isn't even looking at them. They're looking down at the paper. So when you can really include more emotion and more storytelling during their message, this is really what's going to make the education moment more memorable and way more effective. And this translates to your business as well. This is how you're communicating with your prospective clients and your clients as well, your values, and really aligning with the values of the prospective audience. We all, as members, understand certain values that we have about, obviously, this is about education, about learning and growing our business and being successful in our business, giving referrals, all of these things. So how can you include emotion in that? Maybe, come in as, I'm so excited because I learned this great tip on the latest podcast, da da da. Or maybe even feeling their pain, noticing what they're going through. Oh, if you're feeling like this, here's an insight, here's a step that's going to boost you to get
Right.
more joy, more happiness, whatever it is, just throwing in the emotion rather than being robotic.
Yeah, it's so important. Great storytelling is about giving facts, giving information, and wrapping it in an emotion. It could be funny. It could be pulling on the heartstrings. It could be, something that just makes people feel emotional. And that fact wrapped in an emotion compels people to take action, which transforms them in some way. That's great storytelling, in my opinion. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. And the storytelling is what is so memorable.
Yep.
And they'll share that story with a family member or friend.
Right.
And that just keeps getting passed it on. I mean, you think about how we learned stories from our grandparents, our parents, and they've just been passed on for generations.
Yeah.
This is why facts are in a different realm, and wrapping that story is so juicy.
Yeah, it makes the facts interesting, I think. Which brings
Absolutely.
us to the third point, entertainment/edutainment, which I love as a phrase. Talk to us about that.
I love edutainment because I do a lot of videos for my business and for my clients, and to wrap it in with entertaining the audience is more exciting for them. It really makes it more memorable. And I love putting in some drama and some theater into my
Yes,
education
you
moments.
do. Yes, you do. And for those of you who don't know, Jenny's last podcast was episode number 620, adding more fun to education moments, episode 620. And she definitely includes drama and a lot of fun.
Thank you. And since then, I have done several one-to-ones with members across the globe. And some of them that have stepped into the role as education coordinator and want to pick my brain for ideas on how they can do that more confidently. And I'm excited because this has really inspired so many people to get out of their comfort zone and be more playful. Grab a prop that they might have in their closet.
A couple of new characters, don't you, Jenny? That you
I sure do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
tell us
got
about that.
my latest one, which just debuted this morning in my BNI group, was Vinny the Giver, who used to be Vinny the Taker, but is now Vinny the Giver.
That's better.
Exactly. So Vinny the Giver, he talked about giving and relationships and, how do you give? Give is gain. That's a philosophy of BNI. And then we've also got Barbara the Baker. Barbara the Baker, who talked about the recipe for success and mixed in all of the ingredients of the recipe to bake up the perfect amount of success. This was also a reference to a podcast that you did about creating a recipe for success.
Yes.
So it's perfect that I can weave in all of these podcast episodes and really invite people to step into the content that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I don't want to forget about my Little Red Riding Hood character, Red, she's also from New York. So I don't know why New York accent just wants to come through, but I love playing with accents. And she was really talking about the path, finding the path. Of course, there's all these detours on the path to success. And that was referencing a really great podcast as well. And Amelia Chardonnay.
Chardonnay, yes. We got to talk about that. I love wine. So I've got a nice wine cellar. So we got to talk about Amelia.
Amelia. Amelia Chardonnay. She was an interior designer, and she spoke about who was in your room. Who is in your room? A wonderful book that everyone should read, and discussing how you can decorate, how you can have a doorman, and why it is important to be in alignment with the values of the people that are surrounding you in your life.
Jenny, I wish every education coordinator had as much fun with teaching people these important concepts, because these are really important concepts, but when they're delivered in an entertaining way, you educate people, and that's what you do, and you do it brilliantly. And I'm really, really pleased to have you on the podcast. We're almost out of time, but I know you had one other topic about relating VCP to the 3 E's. Can you do that pretty briefly?
Absolutely. I love talking about visibility plus credibility leads to profitability. And why is that related? Because we can use these 3 E's: education, edutainment. We can use engagement, emotion, and we can roll that in to our visibility. So how we're using that for our business, we're using the storytelling, we're talking about our business, we're getting that visibility, we're developing the credibility because we can roll in the things that we've done, the people that we've helped into that emotion-based storytelling. And then that in turn can lead us into profitability. So these can all convert into your business so you can get the greatest success, of course, starting with the education in your chapter, but leading into crossing over to your business to really pack a punch, make a splash, and make a difference.
Jenny, thank you so much for being on BNI Podcast again. I really appreciate you. For anyone interested in finding out more about you, they can go to your website, yourdynamicstory.com. That's your, Y-O-U-R, dynamicstory.com. Thanks for being on BNI Podcast again. I'd love to have you on a third time.
Thank you so much, Ivan.
Great having you here.
I appreciate it.
You bet. Priscilla, over to you.
Okay. Thank you both so much. That was really fun and really informative. This podcast is sponsored by MeisnerAudioPrograms.com. These audio programs will provide you with the tools and the inspiration to powerfully enhance your BNI experience. So check out the great material that's available to you at MeisnerAudioPrograms.com and then use the promo code IVAN50 for 50% off of everything. All of the proceeds go to the BNI Foundation. Thank you so much for listening. This is Priscilla Rice, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for another exciting episode of the official BNI podcast.